Oh, hi, my name is Marco from LightObject, and today I'm going to show you guys how to use a CO2 laser machine with a rotary to engrave a Hydroflask. Okay, I'm going to use a wheel type rotary during this thermal flask instead of the jaw type because we don't want to push too hard on the thermal flask. So instead, we are going to put it on top the wheel like this, and then we add. Oh, by the way, we want to add some weight to the flask because this is going by using friction, the traction, or the other term is traction. So if this one is too light, sometimes when you're turning fast enough, it will skip. That's why I put some water inside the flask, all right? So when we put it over here, when I turn it, you see that I feel so much traction than without the water filling. And also, before we are doing so, I want to one more step, which is by cleaning the rubber band here with water. Because when you clean up, and it add more traction capability. Because sometimes when you settle the rotary to the shelf for a long time, it does cover the wheels, and you will lose the traction power. That's why we need to clean up every time when we use a traction, the wheel type. And I'm going to use our Barracuda for this demonstration. And the machine comes with a 100-watt tube installed. In general, we don't want to use higher power to do engraving, but since the system's already set up, and I use a short focus length, which is 50.8, I think this is good enough. But in general, we will use a 60-watt or 80-watt laser tube, all right? And on this machine, we have a T9 DSP controller card. The reason I like this card over a Radar or because I work closely with the programmer, and I asked him to add the rotary function on the controller card. So the fourth axle now is dedicated for the rotary, and it's pretty simple to use a rotary with this controller card. All right, see, this is how we do it. We get the rotary, and this is a 3-phase motor, stepping motors. So there's a 3 points. And our machine's already rotary ready, so we just plug it in over here on the gantry. And it's pretty simple. And then we power it up. The systems need to home first to register the physical 0 position before we can set it to work. And next thing we need to do is to move the Z table down. And again, the T9 is pretty flexible. Just we have the key for the Z table installed on the keypad, so it's pretty handy to use it. All right, then we put the glass on top. Make sure the handle didn't hit the metal bar over here. So we just need to make sure this is located properly. All right. Then the good thing for the T9 also, when we enable the rotary, we still can control the Y movement, which is not available on the X7, the AEWC 708. All right, we move it. And I got my little wristband. It helped me to set up the focus point. So I just move it up to here and touch it. That's it. And these little handy tools come with two different sizes. One, a little bit thicker, is dedicated for engraving. The other part is a little bit, roughly 1.5 mm thinner, and this is used for thick plywood cutter, and this is really handy. Okay, this is the helmet that I'm going to engrave. Of course, we couldn't get a color on a CO2 laser, but we just try to intimidate it. So, and I put a green here, not because it can engrave in green color, it's just for my own use. So it can stand out how it look like. So the overall image, just like those. So I got 2 layers, and my speed, I set it to 550. Actually, I can go higher than that. Scan gap 0.08, or you can put 0.1, no biggie. And for the power, for the work power, because we are having 100 watt tube installed inside the machine, so I don't, this is just an estimate, so I don't know how good it is, but let me just give a try on 20%. If you set it too high, it will burn the coating, but if you set it too low, then you won't see the paint being etched out. So I'm going to try 20. Same thing, this is an identical setting. Everything is the same. By the way, this one I need to set back to 0.08. Okay, and then we click download and give a name, GB, and click download. And before we can enable the Rotary, so on the setting, we have to enable the Rotary. Okay, go to setting, and then go to UX, and then we pick up 4-wheel Rotary over here. And then there's a wheel diameter, which is a 70 in that case. The other setting, this one will be show you the drive micro stepping, which is 4,000 on our setting. And then the gear ratio is 2.0. And click OK. And then on the hardware wise, so we need to enable the Rotary over here. So we click menu. We go to Z and U setting, hit enter, and then we enable the Rotary rotating engraving. So we just put a check mark over here. All right, and then skip. Now, after done, we can test it if this is working or not. So we can just add, press the U plus and U minus key. Now you can see the Rotary is running, which is good. All right, so I'm going to try engrave over here. And after setting, we hit the origin. And before we start, we just need to run the frame to see the outline of the engraving area. So I'm going to hit. Before we start the actual engraving, we want to test the working area. So we have to press the origin, which is a key to set up the starting point of the laser head. And then we press the, this icon, means the frame, all right? So when I press it, okay, you see the red screen. First of all, I thought it was Y hitting the limit, but remember we don't have a Y axis running at this time. We are running Rotary, so it shouldn't affect the Y. The reason is we haven't set up the range for the Rotary. So let's go to take a look at the software. And by again, clicking on setting, and then we go to U-axis, and then you can see the range is 90. I think this is a little bit off the range, so I'm going to put 200 and save parameter and put the password. PH123. All right. So you register a new range value on the controller card. Now, you can see if you fix the problem or not. So we have to press the escape key, and then we do again. Oh, it's running. So this is the range issue. Okay, before we start wheel engraving or cutting thing, especially when you just got one of these bottle, right, and you don't want to mess up if something goes wrong, you don't want to lose it. So before I do it, I like to see how it come up first. You know, if the location right or the icon is in right. I mean, a correct angle or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of paper to wrap it up. Any paper, all right? So tape it. And we put it back on the Rotary. Okay, and then on the system, we want to try, so I'm going to switch it to engrave mode, on cutting mode. Let's see. We can bring it back later. So let me just do the engrave mode for 100, cutting mode. Let's say 50 speed, and we want to put lower power possible. So I'm going to try maybe 5.5, actually maybe 6, and then 5.5. It may not, the light may not come up because too light. Click. Download. Oh. And then turn on water chiller. All right. And then let's see how it go. And again, I run the frames first. So you rotate like this. So for sure this is not center, and so I'm going to move this one up to here. A little bit too much, huh? Okay. Okay, now it seems it is in the good range. Okay, let me give it a try. And also air check. And need to drop the air. Oh, it's okay. All right, let's try it. Yes, this is too low on the power, so I need to increase the power a little bit. How about 7 and 6.5? Double. And try it. Oh yeah, we see something come up. And we can tell this is not the way we want, because we want to have the 90-degree angle. I mean, you don't want to see MVG from left to right. Instead, you want to do the other way. Okay, so I found out that the images, they got two problems here. First, it's too big. Second, this is doing horizontally, so we need to do vertical the other way. So it will be pretty easy. So we select the icon and then put 90 degree over here and click the button. Well, it do the other way. So I'm going to do one more time, two more time, and it is now flipping from from the horizontal to vertical. And also, I'm going to change the size. But before we change the size, we need to enable the ratio lock. So make sure you enable it, otherwise you may lose the ratio. It becomes improportional. So I'm going to drop 1/4 the size and give it a try. So I'm going to increase the power just a little bit, 7.25 and 7 over here, and click download. All right, so we need to move up because we changed the size. And let's try over here, see how we go. Ready? Go. Yeah, it's coming up. By the way, I'm using a low-speed cutting to simulate the engraving over here, because I want to see how it looks like before I really start the engraving. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. So far, so good. All right, it's done by this part. So that means we need to move down just a little bit and center a little bit. Okay, because we are using a 100-watt laser tube over here. My buddy Larry, he said for 60 watt, he go by 30%, but sometimes he may need to go by 50% on white color. So over here, we have 100 watt, and I don't want to take a chance to roll back the rotary because it may off the alignment. So I'm going to try 40%, 100 watts with speed 550. All right, there we go. Okay, let's see how it goes. It looks pretty good to me. All right, I'm good. I'm going to use a Windex, try to clean up the residue and the smoke causing by the laser. All right. Turned out pretty good.
All right.